Right, back for another one of these, and this time it's not a league race, but we thought we'd do some classic car races this week while in the DNS League, and it kicks back off next week. So here we are, Japan. 2008 McLaren was the car that was tossed for in the end, and here we are at the end of quali, come across the line to come P3, but as you're going to see, we're a long way off the pace, and this was just a really interesting race. I thought it'd be worth sharing because yeah, like a lot of crazy shit happened in it, and I thought it'd be cool. So there you are, a second and a half or so off. Steve, Carl there in second, a bit more reasonable, but as you can see, kind of no one had a great quali really. So starting P3, turn one here is not the best to say the least. You can get caught up in a whole bunch of crap, and that's what we're looking to avoid here. So five red lights. Away we go, and we didn't react the best to that, but thankfully we didn't really lose out. We come across Carl here side by side. I'm not really in a position to really take him, so I cede the corner and let him have it, and just try and navigate this first lap, get that slippery feeling out of the way, get the pre-race nerves out the way, because there's always a few of those. Unfortunately, Steve, who's probably one of the fastest people I know, right behind us here in fourth, and I thought, great, this is the only matter of time before he comes past. So again, the start phase, nothing much is going on. Everyone kind of in front holds position. We're going to move on to lap 2 now in a sec, and I felt as though Steve was going to... I didn't want to really race him too much because I did think at this stage he was faster. So you're going to see I'm going to lift off the throttle, I'm going to let him go. At the time I felt that wasn't my battle. He wasn't really who I was fighting, so I thought better to let him go, like Stefan and Tez and the such. Those are the guys I thought I would be fighting in this race. But as you can see, Steve actually runs wide, and we're going to take back the place because and I said at the time to him, no, I let you through, but you got to do your part and stay on the track as well. So we move back into P3 there, and we're going to try and keep it this time. And we managed to maintain a bit of a gap. But now at this point in the race, lap 2, you see the tyre wear is not looking very good. Not very good at all. So the recommended strategy was 2 stops. Maybe with a third was the alternate, and by lap 4 you can see yourself. I mean, the setup I used wasn't great for tyre wear, and look at that shit, a straight up 5-second penalty just before we go to the pits. Great. And then to add insult to injury, we completely mess up our pit entry and we speed into the pit lane. Steve did the same thing behind me as well. So but the way it shut down, he with his wing change and my penalty, I actually ended up coming out in front of him, so we actually maintain a net P3 there somehow. But the tyre wear was a real concern. The laps I did in quali, I did 2 runs on them, but even still, you'd think usually that you'd feel a bit, the tyre wear would be a bit better. Move on to lap 10. Stefan here is in front. He hasn't, I don't think he's pitted yet, and he makes a mistake, and we can't quite capitalize on it. We just I decided not to go for it because it wasn't the best place to do it. And I have Steve right behind me, so I really want to get this move done, but I couldn't on this occasion. Move on to lap 11, and you're going to see Stefan. He was teetering on the edge of a mistake, and he'll make one here coming into the entrance to the Degners. He runs wide and hands P3 back to me. Very nice. And as you can see already, like lap 11, our tyres are getting really bad. Tyre wear is going to be a bit of a concern. But anyway, moving on to lap 11, coming under increasing pressure from Steve. I thought I did well enough to maintain a gap in the early part of the race, and you see he sets the fastest lap. But I didn't. I couldn't really fight it. I'm going to lift off here, and I let him through because, again, I didn't want to really fight that, and plus I had a bit of wheel wobble, and I almost took him out. So I thought, let me just hand that place back. As you can see, Stefan retires there. But moving on later. That lap, I decided to try and undercut Steve, but of course he pits at the same time, and we calculate our spot much better this time. We both have penalties to serve, so by the time this all shakes down, we're going to be as you were pretty much. So not the greatest. 2 5-second stop go penalties for me. I also got a 3-second penalty not too long after the drive-through itself, or the first stop go. Move on to lap 13 now, and I can't remember what we're doing here. Oh, at this point, as you see from the multi-function display, you see that the tyres are... We have no new sets of tyres to get to the end of the race. So at this point I realised, oh crap, we're going to have to go ultra tyre saving mode. and lap 19 Steve comes into the pits. He can't handle his anymore, and I'm thinking I have to extend this as long as possible because I had no idea what kind of set of used tires I had. I'm assuming they were my other quali set, which I did 2 laps on, so not great, but we push it out as long as we can. Lap 22, tires crying, we come in and hope that these tires weren't too bad, and unfortunately not the best set of tires to be sticking on, but 4 laps, 4 or 5 laps, just and went ultra tire saving mode, and Steve, eventually his tires from lap 19 racked up and he had no sets left, so he came in, put on a new set, but they were 90 something percent, so he retired from the race and called it a day there. Final lap now. See, our tires are dying. Tez has made up a big gap behind us. We were ahead by 20 seconds at one point to him, and at this point you can see on the map that Steve, out in who actually had to pit to fit on a new set of tires as Carl kept going, got a puncture, and that was it. He decided that it was enough. He retired from the race. It would have been a long way to go back. We would have lost pretty much all the position, but there we go, into P2, and we're going to come across the line for a very weird P2, a very strange race. The tires, it's a very weird dynamic with because there's only one set of these groove tires with these cars, not so much like the compounds that we have today, different levels of compounds. So this track is usually fairly high degradation, that's the word. But there you go, P2. Ignore the penalties. I served 2 of them. I only had a 3-second one applied in the end. Ted's only 7 seconds. But yeah, that was an interesting race, and more league racing to come.